You see Portia sit up, stretch a little bit. Man, you have no idea how much of a strain it is to lay still for that long. Well, it looks like everything here has been taken care of. There's a lot of people that need tending to. There's a lot of people who are very confused right now and likely very, very angry. Once you're all done with that, you'll find my cottage where the rift used to be. Feel free to join me whenever y'all like. We're gonna fast forward a little bit, and you all, get to work.
Well, I
Suma,
don't
by the
feel
way, is
lazy.
pointedly avoiding any eye contact with Ayla. Just by
Alok,
the way.
probably the same.
Yeah, as you guys talk, you exit out of the temple. You start walking back along the roads built into the marsh. You pass by where the stone elemental had its rampage. You watch as there are some people maybe just came upon this site and have begun to like bury some of these bodies. Alok, as you pass through, it would be impossible not to recognize what did this damage. You guys finally come upon that clearing once more, and you look and you see that the cottage has been returned to that place. You push the door open, and that's kind of all you follow Suma in. Well, look who finally made it. What can I do you for?
When you were talking and saying that you don't think you would have been as much help as we might have thought, what did you mean?
I saw this fight go down. At least I saw one way it could end. I saw what would have happened if I did intervene. Well, it's kind of like a butterfly effect. There is a certain amount of responsibility that you have to adhere to when you know more than people were probably ever supposed to know. Sometimes when you change something, it maybe seems small or maybe even seems beneficial at the time, but if you trace the cause and effect for long enough, you'll see that one small act of kindness, or perhaps even one large one, could lead to catastrophe.
So can you
Yeah.
just very easily explain to me the entirety of how fate works?
Fate is the will of the most powerful forces in the universe. That doesn't mean that fate can't be changed, it just means that the ways of doing it are severely limited.
What, so we gotta beg to a god? Is that the only way?
Some people think so, but there is one particular way that, well, let's just say it has been has been a well-kept secret for a while. And it has a lot to do with that. And you see, she points at your amulet, Alok. Every time that thing is used, fate changes just a little bit. It starts creating branches. It doesn't mean that the branches aren't going to lead to the same outcome, but it means that the outcome isn't 100% guaranteed.
Alright.
You look upset. Why does that upset you?
It's just annoying that, what, we're screwed because we're mortal? Gotta always rely on others?
Yeah, that's kind of the bitch of it, ain't it?
What makes gods so great, anyways? All respects to Ruby and Alok.
Yeah, Alok and Elixir,
The way I see it, they just got here first, and they got to make the rules. But I would not balk at what mortals are able to accomplish. More than one god has suffered at the hands of mortals. You see,
So
she
how
looks
is that
at you for a little longer than maybe she should have, Gallat.
So these orbs you make, you're able to create the power of a god, or
No, the orbs just don't really change anything.
they don't change anything?
Not directly. Watch. She takes a piece of paper. You watch her write with a quill onto it. Then she burns the paper in a puff of flame. Does it matter what word was on that paper before I burned it? It burns either way. From the perspective of the universe, the way the story ends is Ela gets destroyed and everybody on it dies. It doesn't matter when they do it. It's a big graveyard waiting to be filled. No one cares what order the graves get put in theory.
Well, then...
That, of course, is what I'm attempting to prevent, but...
But, okay, so when you die does not matter. But Alok's amulet changes that, because he brings them back.
Exactly.
Then how does it change fate if it doesn't matter?
You have to think about what power is behind the amulet.
So would Ruby, if she does that, does it not mean the same thing as Alok doing it?
Of all the gods that have a role in what's going to happen, there are three that I would say matter the most. There's Celestia, the goddess of life, Xandis, the god of death, and Terminus, the god of balance. The game between life and death, the discussion between them, was settled a long time ago. When it was settled, it was decided that Ela was to be destroyed. Terminus makes sure that that balance and that decision is upheld, but perhaps he can be persuaded by one force or another to tip things in one direction or another. And it's really only with his blessing is able to bring back people and free them from fate. Spells like Revivify, those are sanctioned, accounted for in the grand calculus of the universe. The act of a cleric channeling a god is not the same as a god doing it themselves. That amulet was created for the express purpose of changing fate.
Alok, why would he want to do that?
Gods are all powerful, but they're not infallible. If Terminus is cheating for one side or the other, or even just dipping a toe in, it is likely that he was influenced by one side or another to make things different. And just so you know, making things different doesn't mean making it better for us. Changing fate doesn't mean you change it for the better, from anyone's perspective.
May I change the subject for a moment? He pulls out the 3 shards. What can you tell us about these?
Its effects can be reversed.
Is it too much to hope you know how?
In fact, I do. It would entail having to physically deliver the shard to whomever it previously belonged to, and, once there, engaging in a ritual. It will not bring harm to either caster or castee, and it will reverse the effects of the shard in full.
What could I do to avoid the mistakes that the past wearer of my amulet made?
It was probably more our mistakes as a group that let her down than the other way around. Her great failing, if you could even call it that, was loving everybody unconditionally. The last time she ever used it was to bring somebody back at the cost of hers.
Who was the final person that she brought back?
The man you now know is the Red Wraith.
How did he become the Red Wraith? Did we mention that? Did we talk about that?
Right, so that's a whole fucking story. Okay.
Okay.
Back in the day, we were all very passionate about saving the world and averting the prophecy. Zariel, most of all. He grew manic after a point because no matter what we did, no matter what we tried to do, we couldn't change fate. And in the end, no matter how far we looked into the future, it was still death for everybody. He grew frustrated with not being able to fight fate. I don't know exactly what it is that drove him mad, but I do know that Yeska has something to do with it. We were all on the ship. We had just got done fighting a big-ass sea monster. We had crew members die. He was upset, and then Yeska took him aside. I don't know what she said to him. An hour later, the ship got ripped apart. He summoned the wind in a sense of fury, summoned a hurricane, and nearly drowned all of us. We said, we're not going to be part of your crew anymore if you keep acting like this, and we walked away. He decided that if the gods were the only people who were able to have a say in what happens, then he was just going to have to become one. The wishes that he made upon that ring made it so that he would be a suitable candidate to receive the power that was locked away inside the Eye of the Storm, the Eye of Priscilla. When he used it upon himself, it is presumed that his body couldn't take it, and so it ripped him apart. Perhaps as a result of whatever wish he made, he didn't die. He lived on. For whatever reason, I don't understand, but his soul became melted into the mists that were forming when he invoked the power of the Eye. What's important to note is this. When the Red Wraith came the first time, he was attempting to stop the end of the world and ended up becoming it. This time around, it seems he has purpose. Why that is probably one of the most important things to figure out. If I were you and I wanted to find Yeska, I would start by heading to Bar Vault, cleaning out what's left of her organization, or at least question people, finding out what's happening. They're the people who are most likely to have leads on what's going on with her. And if you go to Castlemond over at Ravenhall Academy and look for a Professor Vienna Willow, she'd probably be able to assess this much better than I could.
Can you take a quick look at Lagan? Are you able to do that magically?
Sure, yeah. You see she waves her hand and everything on top of the table disappears. Like a giant crystal ball, like, materializes upon it. Places her hands over, and you see vast ocean, wreckage, debris, bodies floating, and the corpses of impaled skeletons still, like, pinned against certain, like, big hunks, sections of wall that were torn apart. The Red Wraith was involved in this, but he's not the one who attacked. There's burn marks on this wood, but it's stormwood. It repels lightning, which means some other party came, destroyed Lagan, presumably with a host of the skeletons we saw, and used fire as well.
Do we know what brought him back?
The Red Wraith?
Oh, Red Wraith. Mhm.
That I don't know. If you are interested in saving time, I could teleport you somewhere if you need to go.
I'm gonna be honest. We need to go to Jathar to get those gauntlets. We can't leave without those gauntlets.
We sort of have been thinking about the choosing that's happening.
Let's see what's going on with the choosing, okay? And you see she goes back to her her crystal ball, and the first place she goes to is Bronos. There is nothing there but devastation. Just like Tora, Bronos has been devastated and torn apart by a massive earthquake. It doesn't look as bad as Tora. There are more survivors, more buildings left standing, but it doesn't look good.
Can you see any of the other cities?
There is a limitation to this, but you
May I
see-
suggest one? Cobra, perhaps?
Ruby, do you react in any way as he says that?
Ugh, like, just like very like clearly uncomfortable. Like,
All right. She zooms in to Copra. One side of the city, you see the buildings. They're standing. There doesn't seem to be any damage done to Copra whatsoever. The marketplace is nice and bustling.
When is the choosing gonna end?
I believe it begins in a couple days officially.
if we leave right now, guys, we could just miss the whole thing.
Well, let's go to Bar Vault first, and maybe before we go, are we sure we don't want to visit your family? You haven't talked that much about them.
Oh, you want to see your family? I could put your family up on the ball.
No, that's not necessary.
Are you sure?
I've never even seen them.
Darling.
Oh, you should put them on the ball, yeah.
It wouldn't even be no problem at all. Like, seriously, you killed a Mind Flayer, you healed all those people back there. It's the least I can do.
You know what? While we're digging all this, let's see everyone else's
You sure?
families first. No.
Well,
Let's see everyone
that's
else's
weird.
families first, and then we can go to mine. If you guys are,
You know, I think this is wrong. Maybe we shouldn't look at anyone's families.
yeah.
Eeny, meeny. I'm gonna roll a d4.
Not to. Whew.
Eli.
I'm stealing the board. I steal the crystal ball or whatever it is. I'm running with it.
The rest of you, for a moment, see a nice seaside town. You see we're zooming in slowly as the library is like kind of forming inside of the smoke of the crystal ball. But before we almost enter through the doors, we almost go in when Alok suddenly jumps really across the table. Alok, I think you try to grab it at first and realize it won't budge, and you just kind of cover it with like your cloak.
That's a bit much.
That's a strong reaction.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is kind of weird. We're kind of prying. You know, I'd rather meet him in person, right?
Well, once you know where y'all want to go, I'll spot you at teleport wherever you want.
Can you take us to the
Um,
moon?
Haven't been there quite yet.
I heard there's a dragon up there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dominic. Yeah, the moon
Oh,
dragon.
Dominic the Moon Dragon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Damn, how do you know his name?
Everyone knows about Dominic the Moon Dragon. It's the reason nobody goes to the moon because he's a dick.
Oh.
Yeah, we discovered how to do that like ages ago during the Age of Explorers. Of course, they're like, let's explore the moon. And then they got up there, and they're like, wait, there's a dragon up here, and he's kind of a dick. And so now we don't go there anymore.
Dominic the Dragon's a dick?
Yeah.
Yeah, where are we going? Bar Vault, or are we trying to get the knuckles?
I don't think any of us would use the knuckles. but
Ruby.
I don't mind having the collection.
Me.
And with the knowledge that pretty soon you'll be able to just choose where you go next, no travel required, saving potentially like weeks of travel, probably have a lot to think about as to what you want to do next. So I think that's where we're gonna end the sesh.